Hey everyone, Revan here, and welcome back to Feed the Beast University. Today, we're going to be looking towards the stars and getting into some advanced rocketry. So sit back, enjoy the video, and let's see what we can't get done. So as per our usual, just a quick run through of what we did in between episodes here. I did manage to finish off Blood Magic. I didn't really record any of it because, like I explained before, it's not entertaining to watch. I'll be completely honest. So this is the ritual that we needed in order to strip the enchantments off of our armor. Again, it was just placing down the ritual stone and making sure we had a bunch of the ritual. Placing down the master ritual stone, and then just making sure we had enough of the ritual stones in our inventory. So when we right clicked on it, it formed itself. And then, yeah, you just activate it and you stand on the center section and it would just strip off all of the enchants that we had in our armor. So that's how we finished that. This ritual over here is actually for the growing of the other types of will. So we have one of each of the clusters here. I had to make more of the gems here. I had to make a bunch of them. That it was a lot of crafting. So yeah, we just had to fill these guys in. The only reason I have two of them now is because this is actually, I derped and I set this up in between two chunks. So this guy right here, I wasn't sure if it was going to grow or not. So I just placed it there. And yeah, so we have Blood Magic completed. I also kind of just went through and did some odds and ends in here. I finished up Integrated Dynamics, which was just crafting this stuff. We're not going to actually use any of it. I got a little bit into forestry, trying to make my way through bees. I'm not going to show bees. So the reason I'm not going to show bees is, well, let's just read the introduction to bees that the quest line is getting it. It says, forestry bees are one of the most famous aspects of a mod scene in general. Bees give you honey and beeswax, which are pretty cool, I guess. Cool bees give you diamonds, dragon eggs, potions, so and so and so and so. So the path to bees is long and complex, but ultimately worth it. Bees will either consume your life completely. This is the part that I want you guys to pay attention to. Will either consume your life completely or completely turn you off of the game for a year. So that's kind of true of bees. Bees are a way to generate some resources, but yeah, you have to go out, you have to find all the hives, you have to mutate them. You have to essentially set something up to automate the production of these guys. You have to start worrying about if it's pristine stock, if it's ignorable stock or ignoble stock, whatever you want to call it. You're constantly having to farm up drones, princesses. You got to make sure you're in the right biome. You got to make sure you have the right flowers, and the output is nothing insane. Like, we got one mundane comb from this bee. The last queen that we had no comb and like one princess and one drone, and that was it. So the return on effort, in my opinion, is not there. It's a cool mod, and I can understand why certain people like it. You can spend a lot of time on it, but for me, it's not something I'm interested in showing. What we did do as well is we set up this little building. This is one of the prefab buildings as well. I just replaced some of the bricks to give it a little bit more color. So this is what we're going to be using for our advanced rocketry. Hopefully this will be enough room down here. And then we have up here for a couple of the like smaller machines. And if we really want to, we can put our launch pad up here on the top, which we might end up doing. I was also thinking about just clearing a section up there, but I don't know if we're going to get to the launch pad this episode. I will be honest with you. I'm going to be learning advanced rocketry in this episode. I have never really played with it. I've played with a couple of the machines before, but I've never really gotten into advanced rocketry very deeply. I think I've used it in one or two packs at a very, very base level, but I don't even think I've used a rocket. And if I have, it was so long ago that I've forgotten completely how to use it. And I'm trying to not actually go and watch a bunch of videos and tutorials on how to do it, because I kind of figure, look, the point of this pack is to kind of introduce you to a lot of mods and at the same point in time teach you how to use them. So I kind of also want to give this pack its fair rating on whether or not I think it's actually teaching you to do that. But the main reason I want to get into advanced rocketry is if we come over here and we actually find it, is this thing right here, artifacts. So the end planet of advanced rocketry, so the end game for this mod, is going to be a world that's got pretty much every metal and every gem in an ore form. And I kind of feel like we're going to need that for our end game stuff. I was doing a little bit of kind of calculations, trying to figure out how are we going to make all of this stuff, because a lot of that has these guys, infinity ingots, and each infinity ingot has a whole ton of infinity catalyst, and each catalyst has, you know, the ultimate stews, the cosmic meatballs, the endless pearls, the ultimate singularity. And I mean, each one of these singularities is 10,000 of an item. So 10,000 coal, 10,000 iron, so and so and so and so. And I started running through some of the singularities. I made up a bunch of coal, iron, lapis, redstone, glowstone, and then I kind of stopped there because I realized that I only had like 30 of each, and that's before what we started getting into things like the alloys. So coal, that's going to take I'm sorry, steel, that's going to take iron and coal. Well, we've already used iron and coal and I could only make 30, so how am I supposed to make another, you know, 64 of these guys? Because I kind of feel like we're gonna need at least a stack of each singularity to kind of to get where we need to go, and that may not even be enough. So I kind of feel like we're gonna need something that's going to intensify our ability. Plus, if we come over to advanced rocketry, this guy right here, Super Sargasso C or whatever it is, we actually need to visit this for a couple of the end game products. Let me see if I can find one here. All right, so these guys, the mine shaft chest ore, the dungeon chest ore, those type of things. The wart, I'm not sure about the warded chest, but the nether chest ore, these guys can only be found in that world. So no matter what we do, if we want to complete the end game of this pack, we need to make it pretty much all the way through to the second to the last place that we need to go for advanced rocketry. So I'm hoping that it's not a super confusing mod and it actually lets us kind of go through it. Sorry about that. Fire or police cars or something just drove past the neighborhood and got real loud in here. But yeah, I'm hoping that this walks us through fairly well. So advanced rocketry. First thing we need to do is make this small plate presser. I'm guessing that's what we're going to need to actually make plates. And then we need this hollow projector. I'm surprised that advanced rocketry doesn't have a book of some sort. We could probably look that up, but yeah, I'm not actually seeing one in here. So well, we'll continue on. Let's see about making this this guy right here, and then I know we're gonna need a piece of obsidian. All right, let's try this. I think we're supposed to put a, yeah. Oh, and it kind of broke the lever. There we go. So we get 4 iron plates from 1 block of iron. So that's 4 ingots to 1 plate. So that is not the best thing in the world, considering that we can make these guys. I'm just trying to actually find where it says iron plate. We can make these guys with a forge hammer, 1 iron ingot and a forge hammer. So we can just go like this, grab 45 of them and get 45 plates just like that. So it's definitely a lot faster. But if you don't have a way of making plates, and theoretically you could automate this, you just put a block placer over here and just, you know, have an interface connected to that. But Thankfully, we have other ways to make plates in this pack. We can make them via immersive engineering, and advanced rocketry also has like a roller of some sort. So we'll get into that a little bit later, but let's see. We need 2 optical scanners, which are just going to be some gold plates and this guy. So let's grab our forge hammers again, and we'll just make up a bunch of as many gold plates as we can here. 39 is good enough for now. And was it just 1, 2? There we go. And so this guy is essentially what's going to help us build our advanced rocketry stuff. So if we look at it, it says shift right click opens up the machine selection interface. Shift scroll moves across the section. So we can open that up, and then we can say, hey, we want to make the cutting machine. We'll just click on that, and then I believe if we right click on the ground, it will show us the outline, and it'll tell us each block that it's going to need. Now, from my understanding, some of these blocks are going to change. Like you see how it says elite, enhanced, motor, so and so. So depending upon like when you start a pack out, or when you start the mod out, you're not going to have all of the resources kind of like we do now. And I don't even know if we have all of the resources, but you may not have the best of the best. So you can start off with a base motor. It won't be as fast, but as you get more items, as you get more resources, you can break a few of the blocks on the multi-block structure here, and actually increase the speed at which these machines run. And then we can just break these to get rid of them. That's kind of cool. All right, so what does it want us to do? It wants us to get into the machine. So the first thing that it wants is, let's see, what do we think we're gonna need here? Crystallizer is the only way to make the lithium crystals and silicone bowls. So we're gonna need all of these pieces over here. Oh wow, this kind of reminds me kind of reminds me of a Greg Tech type of mod. Some coils. We have gold, copper, titanium, aluminum, iridium. Let's see, which ones are the best here? So iridium we don't have a lot of. Aluminum, we'll make those. That'll give us a little bit of a speed buff. Input hatch, output hatch, and 6 quart crucibles. Interesting. All right, so let's actually look, see if we can make this, because I saw some things in there that I don't recognize. So like these guys, control circuit boards. Oh, no, I guess we can make them. Then we need a user interface. We're going to be running out of dye here pretty soon. And it looks like we actually need to go home here, because we're going to need to make some gold dust. So we might as well grab a pattern for gold dust. So we'll just toss that in the sag mill. The only problem is, though, this gold dust is instantly going to be eaten up. Huh. Yeah, like if I make this is pretty much instantly going to get... it's going to be put into the system, but then it's probably... It might end up over in our ore processing unit and just instantly made into stuff and things and stuff. Yeah, see, it's being sucked up into the processing and being turned into ingots again. Oh well, let's see if we have enough to actually make make what we need here. We needed you, and we need one of you. There we go. Then these machine structures, we're gonna need a bunch of iron rods. So we'll just make 2 stacks of these to begin with, because I have a feeling like we're gonna need a lot of them. All right, there, we have the crystallizer. All right, so power inputs. These small batteries, we need iron rods and a bunch of tin plates. All right, and there we have our power input. So it doesn't look like there's different types of power inputs. It looks like it's just this single one here, which is kind of weird to me. We'll just make a couple of these coils. They don't really remember how many we needed there. Input hatch, easy enough. Output hatch. I guess it's easy. Was that literally just the difference between where the chest was? Yep. All right, and then a couple of these quartz cauldrons here. There we go. All right, let's see if we can't set this guy up. And I think we should just start with everything down here. So we are making the crystallizer. There we go. So if we hook that right there, I think we want it a little bit closer. We'll just say right there for now. So we need to grab a input. Where did you go? You're going to be right there. Where is our output? Crystallizer. Going to go here. Power. Then we need the coils. And then I believe, yeah, so if we look at it and shift and scroll, it'll take us to the next level. So we need quartz crucibles on all of these guys. So we needed 6 of them. There we go. And wow, that broke with the sword. Okay. Wasn't expecting that. And then do we need to do anything? Okay, so then we just right click on the crystallizer itself and it forms. So we got that done. So that's cool. And then, oh, a hovercraft. The hovercraft is a flying vehicle. It requires no fuel to run and can fly at any height. Oh, so it's a little bit earlier. I suppose you can make that somewhat early game. What does it actually require? A decent amount of stuff. So may take that back. Maybe you can't. All right. So precision assembler. We need to make one of these guys. And all of these. So I'm just going to run through these precision assembler machine, and I'm just going to start laying all these guys out and getting them made up, and I will bring you guys back when I have this first tier all done and dusted. All right, so I am going to be the first one to admit that was a little bit more confusing than I think it should be. So what I noticed is some of these have a lot of hatches on them, but I don't think they actually need to be there. Like, I think you really just need one input, one output. Like this one says it has a fluid input, but none of the recipe says that it requires fluid. Like the only machine that seems to require fluid is the rolling machine, this is what we're going to use to make plates and stuff like that. So if I were to take, let's just grab some iron real quick since we have a ton of it. Go. And we were to find the input hatch, which I don't know where it is. It's right here. It's hidden. All right. And we toss that in there and turn the machine on. It should start spitting everything out over here into the output hatch, I think. Yeah, it's taking the iron, it's putting it in, and we have an output hatch there. And we also have 2 output hatches. These are not in any way, shape, or form the fastest variant of the machine. I only made like the 2nd tier motors because of the fact that like the higher tier one, the 3rd tier one takes titanium, which we don't have like a lot of. We're not getting that in the void ore miner. I think that one we need to primarily get titanium like via other planets and stuff like that. And same thing with iridium. Like we don't have, the only iridium that we really have is stuff that we found in chests. But yeah, we can now make plates at a 1-to-1 basis here. It's not the fastest thing in the world, like I said, but hey, it works. The next thing that we need is, I should probably do a rehash here. So the electric furnace gives us 32 of these rutile ore, which is another thing that we're gonna need a lot of. And then the thermite, which is used to make torches for when we actually go to the moon. So we'll just place this stuff up in here for now. Silicone we don't need. Next thing we need to grab is a bunch of sand because we need to make some silicone. So we're just going to grab up, I guess, 4 stacks of this for now. I don't know how fast this machine is, but I also have input output hatches on the back, so I can end up, automating this thing at oh, pardon me. So I can end up automating this thing at one point in the time, but it has 4 slots, so we can toss that in there. And then I believe we also just need to turn this guy on And this may not actually be working. So let me make another input hatch real quick, because I did do something that was not as per the instructions in the back here. Oh, good thing we came back here. I didn't notice that we actually had some areas that weren't lit up. All right. So if we take that and we put that there, will this form into like a multi-block? No, it won't. So why is this not working properly? All right, well, let me tear this down and rebuild it and see if we can't figure out what it is that we did wrong here. All right, so I don't really know what I did wrong. When I originally built it, the hologram was showing me that I didn't need input and output hatches on the side here, so I didn't put them. But then it also didn't work. So I ended up just putting this side with all input, this side with all output, and then I have an input and 2 outputs on the back. It seems kind of a bit overkill, because no matter which input or output you access, you still get the contents of it. This is not fast in any way, shape, or form. So, but we are making this silicone ingots, which is what we're going to need for one of our next projects, which is the electrolyzer. To make basic circuits, we need these basic circuit plates, which are made with silicone wafers, which are made with these silicone boules, which are done in the crystallizer with silicone and silicone nuggets to get one of them. So essentially 10 nuggets for one. So we are essentially going to have to wait here and let this make up a bunch of it. I'm going to try to help it out with that guy, but yeah, there's not much we can do for that. What else do we need here? Chemical reactor is also going to need these circuits. So I guess we just kind of have to sit and wait. So I'm going to craft up a couple stacks of this, and then I will come back. All right, everybody. So I figured out something absolutely fantabulous. That's right. We don't really need this electric arc furnace. So silicone is if you follow the advanced rocketry, then yes, you have to make it with the advanced rock. If you follow advanced rocketry, then yes, you need to use the arc furnace. However, you can also make it in the manufacturer with just some sand. So I made a pattern for that, and it makes it 10 bajillion times faster, because this thing, it's really big. It looks kind of ugly, and it goes even slower. So yeah, we have a bunch of silicone right now, and we have these guys. So let's just show you what this looks like when we make these up. So we have to take these over here to our chemical, or the crystallizer or whatever, and it's going to take them. It does its little thing where it like pumps stuff in and out, and it takes really long. So we just speed that up, and then we'll get some of these silicone boules, or however you pronounce it, and we take those and toss them into the input hatch of our cutting machine, and it does a nifty little animation, and it will spit out the wafers. So we get, I think, 4 wafers per silicone. So I have about a stack of them made, and then we just need some redstone and gold. You would think if after all the years I spent on the computer that my typing would get better, but it doesn't. And we'll just toss those into this guy and make sure it's turned on, and it should take that wafer and assemble it into the circuit that we actually need. So we'll kind of let this guy run. We'll speed it up a little bit just so that we get a couple of them. So now we have basic circuits, and we needed, what was it, 4 of these basic circuits right here. So we need to take these basic circuits and toss them into the cutting machine over here. That's the rolling machine. This is the cutting machine. So we take the circuits back in, place them in. Have a whole lot of visual glitches. These apparently just go a lot slower. So we get silicone wafers. All right. So apparently it was still running that. We have to throw in the basic wafers. All right. So that should cut those guys up and get the pieces that we actually need to build these I don't want to say last two machines, but the last two machines that it's showing here before we start getting into rockets. Obviously, we're still going to need to make a bunch of machine stuff to make oxygen, rocket fuel, and all of that. But at least now we'll have the basics of these machines up and running here. So we have 8 of these basic circuits. So we should be able to make our electrolyzer. And can we make the chemical reactor too? Not yet. We still need one of each of these circuits here. All right, that should all be all the circuits that we need. So now we have our chemical reactor. So we'll set the electrolyzer up over here. Again, just shift right click and you can just click and drag this to pick the one that you want. I wish you could scroll through it, but it just doesn't have that. So we'll select the electrolyzer, and this is not very big. So I guess we can put this guy right here. So we're going to need a whole bunch of blocks to build this up. Let's see, fluid. All right, so we'll take our fluid output and our fluid output, and then we have a fluid input in the back. And then what are these? Machine structures. There we go. And let's just see if there's a second layer to this. There is. So we need a coil and 2 power plugs. All right, hopefully this is it. We got our coil right there and power plug. Right click on it, and we now have our electrolyzer. And be interesting to see what this guy actually pushes out, but we're gonna have to hook up a dense infinite water over here. That should just be able to go right underneath, as long as I can do this without breaking anything. Yeah, I suck at not doing it without breaking anything, but toss that in there, and then we can come back later and actually toss in the power to it. We'll just make a hole in the back here just so that we know where we have to run it to. And then we just need to set up the chemical reactor. Hopefully this one is about the same size here. All right, we have the chemical reactor. That is all set up. So we just need to... they both have fluid inputs. So I'm gonna have to figure out which ones, like which fluids it's actually wanting us to use here, because that's going to be a big difference. Like this, I'm assuming, is going to be water, and it's going to split it into oxygen and hydrogen and stuff like that. This guy's going to probably have different inputs, so we might actually have to set up some sort of fluid reserve and then just pump it in as we need it. But we can actually just check that out. So oxygen and hydrogen, it can take nitrogen. So oxygen and hydrogen are going to make a rocket fuel. I'm assuming that's pretty much all that we're going to need as far as the fuels go. So we might be able to just run it straight over to it. All right, so I think we finally got all this guy set up over here. Let me just check. So we have the electrolyzer up and running. I did find one thing out. So if something has 2 power inputs, if you have 2 of them on there and you only hook up to one, it only fills up the energy by half. So with one of these power inputs attached, it was only sitting at 100,000 power. So I just attached both of them up. But I just have a dense infinite water source underneath the back here, feeding this guy water. And then it is outputting hydrogen and oxygen, which we have going down into 2 of these ultimate fluid tanks. And those guys are being output over here into these fluid input hatches with filters. So I have one set to hydrogen and one set to oxygen, because I think the only thing we really need this for is for the rocket fuel, at least for now. We can always make another one or make changes as we need to. But we then need to we have an output hatch here, fluid input, fluid output hatch here. So we should probably make another one of these fluid tanks. Unfortunately, Mechanism does not like working with AE. So yeah, you have to do these by hand. It will make the pieces, it just won't assemble them, because it's not, for whatever reason, it's not like smart enough to understand the fact that, hey, I need the basic tank instead of the advanced tank, and so on and so forth. So it will just kind of hang itself up on the making of the recipe. So I have them saved so that I can you know, I could just say, hey, make me one of these guys, and it'll make all the components. It just won't make anything higher than the basic level tank. So then I have to go in and kind of like handcraft the rest of it. So that's kind of a bummer, but that is what it is. So I'm just going to make up another one of these ultimate tanks here, and we will continue on. All right, there we go. And I also did kind of try to mess around with the sound muffler. It doesn't seem like you can muffle this guy. I got one of the super sound mufflers, and I did all the recent sounds, and it was muffling everything. It just wasn't muffling this machine here. So we're gonna just have to live with it. I mean, if we get far enough away, it doesn't really make a difference, but yeah. So we got some rocket fuel tanks. The next thing is it wants us to get into launch pads and everything else, but we also still need to make spacesuits, because obviously if we go into space, it's going to be nice if we don't, you know, suffer a horrible, you know, demise by not being able to breathe. So let's see about getting all these guys taken care of here. All right, so I am just now working through the assembly of these add-ons here. So I want to do padded landing, which will take away any fall damage that we have, because when you're coming in hot, apparently they can cause damage. We have our ring on it, so I don't know if that's going to cause any issues, but I figure we'll make it anyways. The bionic leg will just make it so we run a little bit faster, and then I want to try to make a high pressure tank so we have more oxygen. And then the anti-fog visor, from my understanding, some of the planets have like a really high fog level, so this comes in handy. And then I'm not 100% sure what the atmosphere analyzer does, but we're going to take it anyways. So I'm going to have to make a lot of these guys in the precision assembler. They just require various parts, so it's a lot of little crafting here and there just to craft it again and add it on. But I want to show you the first one, just so we can take that out. Just so that like when I run through everything else, it's not like, oh, you guys didn't see any of it. So we just got to add these 4 pieces in here, and it should make our boot. And then we come over here to our workbench, and we have the armor on. So if I take this piece over here and toss it in, it should give me padded landing, as you can see right there. So this allows me to upgrade the armor, and we'll more than likely only be utilizing this when we're actually in space, because yeah, what I am curious about is if I can take this off and toss this on. Yeah, see, it won't let me put it on there, so I have to use this armor for now at least. But I'm gonna go through the rest of these add-ons and then show you the final outcome. All right, so we got all of the modules done. We have the anti-fog, the atmospheric analyzer, 2 of the super high pressure tanks. We still need to fill those up. Bionic leg upgrades and padded landing boots. So we can now run pretty fast. We can still fly, obviously, but we should be able to hold a decent amount of oxygen when we are actually ready to go out into space. But we don't need that for right now, so we'll just take these guys off and toss them in here, because we still need to make something that's going to allow us to actually charge our stuff. So is used to fill your armor with oxygen. So this guy we need to make, and let's see what we're gonna need for that. So we're gonna need 2 of these steel fans, a couple of these guys. We should have a weighted pressure plate, but we'll make one just in case here. And then do we have everything? Nope, we were just missing this user interface guy. So if we take this and then just say we only want to insert oxygen, and it's full of that, and then it also needs some power, so we can just link that right there. So now if we stand on this and actually grab our spacesuit here, not sure if that means that we're full. I don't remember what color it was before, but it seems like, yeah, so it did take the oxygen and it put it inside of our chest here, but we could probably actually go take that out and just see if the tanks are full. Let's see. So yeah, this is 8,000 and 8,000. So we are full on oxygen for our suit. So that is awesome. We'll just toss you in there and we can just get rid of some stuff. All right, so there's just a couple other things that I wanted to check out here before we call it an episode. I was looking through other things that I can make. I ended up making this holographic planet selector and the hoverboard just to kind of get those check marks. Interplanetary delivery system, we'll make it. We'll make all the pieces, but I highly doubt we'll ever need to use it. We have things like ender chests, and I have a decent amount of storage space. I don't need to send things the way that this does. So essentially what these are, it's like you'll have a railgun set up over here and a railgun set up like in another dimension or somewhere super far away, and you can shoot items from one point to the other with the railgun for the cost of RF. And like we have the entangle porters and the dimensional whatchamadoohickey things from Ender.io, so we don't really need it. I mean, it's cool, but it, you know, it is what it is. And then everything else is pretty much getting into the rockets, which is what I want to do next episode. But with this guy, I'm trying to remember, it said how to use it. I just probably didn't read it. So I can right click on a planet to select it and right click again to zoom in on it, show its moons. Right clicking up a level will move you from the moon to its planets. So sneak right click the block to open the GUI, and you can make the hologram bigger or smaller. So I mean, this is pretty cool. This is where we are, Sol number 9. We have our moon, so you can't actually just click on them themselves. It looks like you need to click on this over here. So it's interesting. I don't know if we'll ever really use it. It would be kind of a cool decoration feature if it had a little bit more operability to it, or if I just wasn't so much of a derp. The other thing I wanted to check out is, first let's sleep and then let's check this out. All right, so we have our hovercraft here, which kind of looks like something straight out of Star Wars. Doesn't look like it takes any gas or anything like that, but Z to go up, turn off the light lounge, X to go down. There we go. And we can just yeah we can just kind of fly around here. So this is, you know, wasn't too difficult to make. So it is kind of flight. I don't know if we have, so we do have stuff like our bows, just doesn't shoot, so we can still use that. We can kind of use our pickaxe. So I don't know if you'd want to build with this or whatnot, but I suppose if you don't have, if you're in a pack and you don't have creative flight, it would be something. But yeah, I think we are going to call it an episode there. Next episode, hopefully we can actually get into getting to the moon or wherever we need to go. But as always, hey, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do, especially if you like my content. And as always, until next time, stay safe, be awesome, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.